So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to present Valirx PLC to you. We are actually doing those personalized cancer therapeutics or developing the personalized cancer therapeutics for you, which, as the gentleman just explained, and disclaimer, our lawyers are very proud of this one. However, okay, overview of Valirx is we are oncology-focused company. We are developing oncology therapeutics for personalized medicine, as was explained for you just before. We have therapeutics, biomarkers, and companion diagnostics in development. At the moment, approximately 75% of the therapeutic approaches or drugs which are in clinical development come from biotech companies, such as Valirx. The reason for this is that for reason or another, big pharmaceutical companies such as Pfizer, Glaxo, etc., have started to shut down their R&D, early stage R&D departments. And now they're thinking, hold on a second, we need a pipeline for their shareholders and their investors and so forth. And they go, what shall we do now? Oh, we go to biotech supermarket with our shopping trolley, going like, okay, Valirx have something we are interested, let's hopefully, in the future, license or buy one of their products so we can then take it to the market and late stage development and market. So we are a growing company with a very clear business model. We work with Imperial Cancer and Cancer Research Fund, Imperial College and Cancer Research Fund, etc. They are constantly coming to us and say, we have this early stage, very interesting compound, would you like to have a look? And what we do is we have very rigorous commercial as well as scientific process to select those potential products. Then we take those products into certain clinical stage, we call it 2A or 2B. And then at that stage, we have created a lot of value for the said company, and hopefully your big pharmaceutical or small pharmaceutical company will license it out, and we are constantly talking to them because, for example, personally, I know those guys. We did PhDs and we went to student bars together a couple of years back. Our product pipeline at the moment looks like this. Our lead compound is now going to clinical phase, early stage clinical phase, which is a great value jump for any product. We are starting with prostate cancer, but however, this compound has a potential for other hormone-induced cancers such as breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and quite interestingly, endometriosis as well. Endometriosis is not cancer as such, but it can lead to endometrial cancer as well. I'll explain a bit more. Apoptosis inducer, again, is a very interesting compound. Apoptosis is programmed cell death, because we all have cancer growth all the time. However, normally what happens is that your body thinks, oh, it's not a good idea to have these cells growing, so let's kill them, and it happens. However, some cancer cells are clever and don't want to be killed, they want to grow. And what we mean by apoptosis, which is programmed cell death, we want to help your body to battle those clever cancer cells which don't want to die. So we help them to die, if you want to put it crudely. NAV3 is a cancer biomarker system we have developed, and as was explained before, what we want to do now is to create personalized diagnosis for example, for our products. So we know which people or which patients are going to respond to our treatments in a very perfect way. So we don't give wrong treatments or treatments which even make them sometimes worse. And NAV3 is being developed together with our other therapeutic approaches, just example to give a biomarker for these kind of purposes. GNICE is a discovery platform for our apoptosis drugs. And how many, I will explain rebellious genes a bit later. Our key achievements this year are, well, we are going to clinical trials with our prostate cancer or hormone-induced growth cancer drug, and we are starting with prostate cancer. We have agreement with UCL clinical unit for these cancer trials, and this particular unit is, of course, one of the best in Europe, if not in the world. So we are doing the work with a very respectable institution. I think they have done, how many, 100 trials? Many, let's put it this way. We have successful preliminary biomarker development together with our therapeutic approaches. We have also completed the preclinical proof of concept for our next compound, which is hopefully going to clinical trials very soon for lung cancer. So we are working with high unmet medical needs. Like for example, late-stage prostate cancer has a very high unmet medical need, and we all know that lung cancer is very difficult piece to crack. And this particular compound also have potential for pancreatic cancer as well, which is again very difficult piece to crack. So unmet medical needs. We have a second Eurostars grant now ongoing. Eurostars grant is one of the best grants in Europe. So we got the first one about 4 years ago. We successfully completed that program, and we got the second one, the follow-on grant. And funding, we are a development company, so we use investment funding, needless to say. It is just an exam science, now we get into science. This is for our lead compound, prostate cancer. I always say to investors, invest on a green line, which means when you give oncology models, placebo or nothing, the tumors grow. However, when you treat these models with our compound, the tumor stops growing, which is a good idea for a person who has that particular unfortunate. And we are not exactly restricted by a market size, because, for example, prostate cancer market size is about 5 billion and is due to growing because, unfortunately, well, there are a couple of reasons for this. First of all, diagnosis is getting better. Men are growing, are living longer, and if you are fortunate enough as a male to live quite a long life, you will have a prostate problem at some point in your life, quite likely. So, the market is growing, and we are helping these people to live their life in a much happier way than they would otherwise if they had such a problem. Endometriosis, which is uncontrolled growth of endometrium in your uterus, for females obviously, is a very common health problem for women under 40 in the Western world. It's one of the most common health problems. It causes infertility, of course, psychological problems, and well, you name it. So, although the females in this room are very fortunate not to have a prostate problem, we may have, or some of us may have, endometriosis problem, and that is a huge market as well. It has a huge commercial impact, and the market at the moment is about 1.3 billion, but I mean, we are talking about billions, so whether it's 1.3 or 1.4 probably doesn't make any difference in that sort of way. Lung cancer, our lung cancer drug, Val-401, has shown a potential, enormous potential for actually killing lung cancer cells. As you can see, yeah, the cells die. They just die because the treatment is effective. This particular drug has been used previously for other indications, so we know it's safe, because this is what we call reformulation drug. It has already safety data, and potentially it's been on the market for other indications. And now we are taking it to lung cancer indication. So risk is relatively low. Well, I can, of course, that's why we do trials, so then we know what's going on. So, as I said, this particular drug has preclinical data now for lung cancer and prostate cancer. Pancreatic cancer, again, is a huge unmet clinical need. And we are doing further studies now, hopefully getting to clinics with this one as well relatively soon. Gina's platform, as I said, I mentioned about Gina's platform. What I call this is shutting down rebellious genes, because cancers are quite often caused by, they have a genetical origin, and I call them rebellious genes. Rebellious genes mean they work when they shouldn't be working, or where they shouldn't be working, or when they shouldn't be working. So being rebellious. So what this platform is capable of doing is to develop a molecule which finds the rebellious gene, shuts it down, and, as I say, as an analogy, put it in its room, locks the door. However, we keep the key just in case we have to get the rebellious gene out again for whatever reason. And again, we have quite a lot of preclinical data showing that when you actually treat the models with our rebellious gene molecule, our lead compound, you get inhibition of the tumor growth, whereas if you give placebo or nothing, they just grow as tumors do. We actually had a very good explanation of biomarkers already. Biomarkers are for personalized medicine to determine which kind of treatment is good for a person, or whether our treatment is good for this person or that person. So I'm not going to explain that again because it was explained, but it is a very hot topic in pharma industry. So what we are doing in the company is to develop biomarkers to go together with our therapeutic approaches or our drugs. So when I go to pharmaceutical company and say, okay, here's the therapeutic approach or drug. However, you also have a biomarker to go with it. So when you go to your phase 3 trial or whatever, you can determine whether this drug works with this person or that person or that person, and the success rate for what we call phase 3 trial, which is the last one pharmaceutical industry usually does, is going to be, well, it's just going to be more successful, and it saves you money and time and da-da-da. So my price tag for my therapeutic approach is going to be higher, because then I say, okay, you will save a lot of money, and we are talking about hundreds of millions. So please give me some more, obviously. The value chain for companies like ourselves is academia are notoriously bad talking to pharma companies. Pharma companies are notoriously bad in discovery and early stage development. So biotech companies are kind of glue in between academic discoveries and pharma companies, marketing, selling, like that. So I always say biotech is the link between discovery and late stage clinical and marketing. And as I mentioned before, we are not just taking discoveries as they are. We have a very robust, we've been doing this for 10 years now, we have a very robust system in actually assessing which early stage discoveries or early stage products are worth taking forward. And we are focusing in oncology, however, our discovery platform has implications in maybe neurological areas, but they are licensing opportunities. Our partners are very respectable institutions such as Cancer Research UK, Imperial College, Heidelberg University, which is the state of European Molecular Biology Organization. So we are leading this Eurostars consortium. We were ranked 4th in Europe when we got our first one 4 years ago. And that's out of, I don't know, 500 applications, so also, I don't know, many. Institut Pauli-Calmettes is the leading cancer research institute in France. Helsinki and Oulu universities are developing our biomarkers. And I would say, you probably don't know what Oulu is, but in Oulu is a relatively small town in Finland, sort of size of Cambridge. But they had, and still do, they have the major R&D center for Nokia. Everybody knows what Nokia is. And that just illustrates, it's a university town, but it's very focused on high-tech, IT, mobile phone type of IT thing-ish, and also biotech. So there's a lot of knowledge around, a lot of people who know a lot about these high-tech businesses. So we have JV with Tangent for the lung cancer drug. And board of directors are your normal, myself and our chairman. It has 40 years experience in pharma industry. That's me. George Morris, who is present here, is our chief operating officer, has been doing this for several years, this way. Jerry, our finance director, doesn't know anything about biotech, but oh my goodness, try to get money out of him. But yes, he knows every single penny, which is a very useful education. And Mr. Alexander is, has been trained as a lawyer, and he can practice in US as well as UK, which is very helpful. Mr. Seppo Mäkinen has been in venture capital industry for many years and has been running one of the most successful venture capital funds in Nordic region, not just in Finland, but in the whole region. So that's us. Thank you very much.